walking down the
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
and dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
I'd like to welcome you to the Emmy-nominated Donnie Glover Show. We have some special friends joining us today, all the way from WKIM, Marcia Jews, and also Marcia Jews with WKIM, Aria Brent with the Afro-American newspaper. Hi, Aria.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And let's see, Andrea, are you joining us?
Yes, I'm on the go, but I am here.
Okay, so we won't get a visual from you. You don't want to see the director of Black Media?
Not right now because I'm in transit in the car. So
Okay, well, we're going to let you slide. We have Rodericka Applewhaite. She is the director of Black Media. Rodericka, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Doni. Always good to be. I guess it's technically my first appearance, even though you embarrassed me last time when I had Karine on here. I hate being talked about, but it's awesome to be here and really excited.
Well, I had to bring some of my colleagues to the forefront because I want them to know about the work that you and Karine and others before you have done to ensure that the Black press has access to the White House.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the highlight of my job. Obviously, it's in the title, but as it's a role I take very seriously. It's really exciting. This is my third month here, so it's been a joy to work with you, Karine, all of the different White House officials as we work to amplify all the work we're doing for Black Americans coming out of the White House and across the entire Biden-Harris administration. So it's really been an honor, and it's great to be on with you as well, Marcia, Aria, and Andrea.
Nice meeting you.
It's a pleasure.
Ladies? Marcia, don't be shy. Come on, that's not your MO.
I'm getting ready. I'm just getting ready to talk. So, Rodericka, congratulations on your position. That's huge, and it's an honor.
Rodericka.
Call me Ro.
Rodericka. Okay, Ro. I like Ro. All right, Ro. How you doing?
Doing great,
So,
Marcia. How are
tell
you?
us about. I'm wonderful. Still standing. You see all this white hair, don't you? So
looks great.
So I'm really excited that you're there. Would you mind talking about your past and your experiences to get to where you are today? This is huge.
Yeah, happy to. So I have a campaign background. I have a research background. Much to my mom's chagrin, politics has always really been something that's been interesting to me. I debated in high school. I would say that's kind of where I got my start with that. From there, applied to a bunch of colleges. GW happened to be the one in DC that was giving me the most financial aid. So I was like, sure, let's do it. At the time, I had aspirations for law school because I thought that's basically where you went if you kind of had my interests. And growing up in a small town in Georgia, didn't really know what other outlet there was not really aware that, campaigns and politics was a career choice. So going to college in DC really opened my eyes to that. So it was really a fulfilling, enriching experience. And, I knew when I graduated, I wanted to be involved. So ended up getting my start in political research, basically doing a lot of background deep diving on candidates and the candidates' opponents. And then from there, kind of worked on some statewide races in Georgia, which is my home state, and then New Jersey. And then after that, worked at Emily's List, which is a pro-choice Democratic organization supporting pro-choice women candidates. So was the research manager there, working on all things down ballot. So any, whether it would be like county commissioner or mayor, that sort of thing. And so over my time did work that ended up getting, I think 600, 700 women endorsed by Emily's List during my 2.5 years there. And then after that, I was like, I know I want to work on a presidential. So ended up getting scooped up by the Pete Buttigieg for president campaign. So shipped out to Chicago and South Bend, working in the headquarters there. And from there, that was really my first foray into communications. Just because of the way the team was set up, I was in charge of all of Pete's mayoral research. And from there, it was it ended up being too difficult for me to explain it to our comms team and then have them explain to reporters. So they said, bro, just get on the phone. And I said, I'm a millennial. I don't speak on the phone, but ended up starting doing it and, noticed, first off, just how fun it is to work with reporters. I always really enjoyed it. I love the dedication to the craft of wanting to, maintain the integrity of reporting. And also just, something that I really enjoy that, I feel like dovetails nicely with the way the reporters work. I mean, obviously you're working to do right by your listeners and your readers, and I'm working to do right by voters. And there's a lot of ways that intersects. And so being able to talk to people, work with people on a daily basis that kind of understands how important the work is something that was really interesting to me. So it's like, I want to continue doing comms. So after Pete, Governor Whitmer was running for re-election in 2022. And so I ended up going out to work for Michigan Democratic Party as their senior comms advisor. And so in that role, really focused on the governor's race and all 15 Republicans that were running against the governor at one time, and which was a really just fulfilling experience. So all of those things, with all of my campaign experience, I then came back to DC after winning in Michigan, which was my first win, very exciting. And then went to a communications firm. And then after that, got the call from the White House. And, it is definitely a dream for me. And, as I continue to explain to my family what I do, it became something they were very proud of me for being able to achieve. So, so far, it's been an absolutely incredible experience and just excited to do the work.
Well, I'm glad you spent some time in my hometown. I'm from South Bend, Indiana. Right down the street from Notre Dame, girl. What?
Yes. Okay. So I've spent a lot of time at Corby's, but that's for a different.
That's another conversation. We'll have Well, congratulations on your position, and we're very excited to have you there. And thank you, Doni, for bringing us all together. This is huge. And it's really important for us to be able to have these conversations and link into the White House and be part of these historical moments. And we appreciate it.
Thank you. So to kind of piggyback off of the question that Marcia had asked, I know that you gave us the full background, and it sounds like you've definitely had a long time coming leading up to this position. But Rodericka, can you tell me, I guess, who within the Black media has influenced you throughout your time in communications? Especially because I know that to do communications is one thing, to do political communications is a whole different beast. But you now are working very hard, might I add, to shine a light and to assure that the Black media is getting their chance to speak with the White House. How did you not even fall into it, but like I said, who has influenced you and what made you want to take on such a role that, I mean, holds a lot of significance?
Yeah, I think, the first two folks that come to my mind are Simone Sanders and April Ryan. Both have been, April Ryan in particular has been doing this for 27, 28 years or something like that. And, many times is still kind of the only Black hand raising to ask a question in a particular room. And so, folks that have trailblazed in that sort of way will always be an inspiration to me, especially Black women. With Simone, I know her back from Bernie Sanders days. I first met her in Burlington when I was working on the research firm that supported the Sanders campaign at the time. And so I've been looking up to her forever. And it's just been really cool to see somebody who is my age doing this kind of work and operating at this level. And so it's just, both of those have been huge for me.
So one of the questions that I would have, Rodericka, is with all of that you're doing, what are the top 3 most difficult things that you had to overcome coming into the White House? This is a new experience for you and huge, being there with at the White House with the President of the United States. How does that look for you?
I would say probably the main thing, especially someone coming from some campaigns, coming from campaigns, and some that have been way more scrappy than others. And most of the time I was a one-person department entirely and wearing multiple hats. I think biggest thing that I was nervous about, I guess, coming in was just working with such a large team, just because, it's difficult sometimes seeing where you fit and you want to make sure that you're not stepping on anyone's toes and disrupting the culture too much. But I've been really lucky, and this is a testament really to to President Biden and Vice President Harris's commitment to building a personnel that's really reflective of the government they're trying to run. Is that everyone has been so collaborative, so great to work with, so supportive of me and giving me the space to pitch what I want to pitch and execute the things that I'm trying to execute. And so that part has been really great. As far as the other two, let's see, there's a lot of names to learn. This is a huge office really to be working in the White House office. And so learning everyone's names, making sure I know what departments everyone's in. And I would say the last thing is, and it's just, a testament to all the work that's leaving the building, just to make sure that I'm keeping track of everything that's happening. We are pushing policy initiatives every single day almost, many of which, if not all, touch Black Americans. And so I want to make sure that I'm amplifying that stuff because, yes, obviously the policies themselves are good and doing good things, but, a lot of them involve, people opting into a program or being aware that something's happening or being aware that there are benefits and resources for them. So if they don't know about it, that's partially on me to make sure that they're being informed of those things. So, I'm always working with different departments across the administration week after week to make sure that we're getting that stuff out.
Andrea Blackstone, you want to jump in? Andrea? Okay, we'll go back to you, Marcia.
Okay, so what are the 3 things or 4 things that we as press, what should we do in preparation to either coming to the White House or interacting with the White House? What should we have in our pocket, right?
Well, you should have my email and my phone numbers in your pocket, and I'm happy to give them to you, not on the live stream, to save my inbox.
At another time.
But I mean, I coming from the P campaign that really instilled this ethos in me. I have very much a go everywhere policy. There is no outlet too small. There is no issue too unimportant to highlight or we don't prioritize in that way. if there's anything that's important to you or to your viewers, that is important to me. And it is my job to really be your advocate to make sure that you're getting connected with who you need to get connected to in this White House to make that happen. So
let me just jump in for a second, Marcia. We want to thank you, Rodericka, because it hasn't always been easy for us to get access. And when I personally meet a Rodericka Applewhaite, I am grateful because I know it doesn't have to be. We've also been joined by the editor of the Baltimore Times. Dina, are you with us? Dina? Okay. Well, nonetheless, Marcia, you had a part two?
Yes, I think what I'd really like to know is, are there forms that we have to fill out? You know, is there a process and a procedure that we need to follow? Is there documentation that we need to have? Do we need to have information, our photos or our bios or anything like that that might be helpful to you? Or how do we make our experience with you, for you, so that it's not cumbersome and painful?
Yeah, so it's my job to handle the logistics of all of that. So if there's ever a time, you know, and I blast kind of opportunities to either interview officials weekly or come on campus to either observe an event that's happening. We've had a lot of Black History Month events this month that fall into that category. So just like look out for my emails, and I want to make sure that you're on my press list as well. But just look out for those, and then, you know, I handle logistics on the back end. But there's nothing in particular that we need besides like what Secret Service needs so that you can get on campus.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah. I like the fact that you're calling the White House the campus. It's really wonderful.
We do that. It's very like Google-esque, and I'm sorry, but yes.
No, I think it's wonderful because now it's really community friendly, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Wait till she sees Pebble Beach.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, bring your sunglasses.
Oh, I'm ready. I like Pebble Beach. I used to live in Manhattan Beach.
This is not the same beach.
Not the same beach.
So, Rodericka, can you talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges that you're overcoming? Well, not that you're currently overcoming, because I know that Marcia had asked that and you told her, you know, you gave her your top 3, but some things that you know are forthcoming that, you know, are kind of on your to-do list, but you've yet to begin to tackle them. So whether that be things that are media related, challenges that you're thinking you're going to face in the position, just, we know, within the role, stuff like that. Can you give me like your top 3, maybe your top 4, like I said, the challenges that you know are on the way and you kind of preparing yourself to tackle them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the main challenge that has been very evident since I started this job is really just time and scheduling. And so, you know, obviously I want to make sure that we're highlighting all the work that our departments and agencies are doing. I want to make sure that we're getting as much time as possible with cabinet level secretaries so that they can speak directly to Black outlets about these issues. And so really the hardest thing is just scheduling. We have several dedicated members of our team whose job is basically entirely just figuring that out for us week after week. So I think that's really the hardest thing. Other than that, you know, like I said before, I've really been given the runway that I need in order to, you know, pitch the ideas and stuff. I've never heard that's a bad idea or that's stupid or anything like that, which has been really great and allows me a lot of leverage to be as creative as I'd like to be. But sometimes it just literally runs into scheduling and time.
Okay, well, I love to hear that things are going smoothly for you. On the contrary, can you tell me what about your role so far has been the most fulfilling, or what you've enjoyed the most? Or better yet, once again, if you know it's forthcoming, what are you looking forward to the most in this role?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, I think this month in particular has been really great. Just, you know, heartwarming stuff. It is, you know, as someone that's coming from a campaign background and with everything that's always happening here all the time, I mean, you'll literally see people running up and down the halls here sometimes because there's always something on fire. And so it's a lot of the time, I think it might be easy to lose sight of like what this work is for and who it's for, because you're just like in the trenches all day. And so this month has been really great, you know, just for me to feel, you know, seen by this administration as someone who is Afro-Caribbean, as someone who is Afro-Latina also. And so we've had days for both of those parts of the Black diaspora this month, which has been really great. You know, my mom is Panamanian. She did not teach me Spanish, unfortunately.
Ay,
I know, it's bad. But I really appreciated that with the interviews I was staffing yesterday. Yesterday was our Afro-Latina Day. There was active call outs to people that don't, at times feel maybe that they can't fully embrace their Afro-Latina side because they don't speak Spanish or because whatever reasons why they might not feel as tied to the culture. And so it's exciting to feel like I'm part of that and to be kind of seen at the highest levels in our nation by that. And obviously Afro-Caribbean Day was great. I missed the food. There was a ton of food outside that I didn't have time for. But just both of those things are really great. And then another thing, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, was on Kelly Clarkson's show this week and had the opportunity to surprise a young Black woman journalist or budding journalist. I think she's still in high school, but just to, shine that light on her and help her feel seen. And, being able to do that work it's just so important. It gets away from you sometimes just because there's a million things going on, but to see that, to have those moments to step back and see what all of this work is for and how novel it still is for a lot of people to see Black people working at these levels is so it's just such an honor.
So in looking at the White House and when coming into the White House, how should we be prepared if we're actually on site? What should we be doing?
Yeah, be cool is the main one. There are so many people. No, I mean, there's nothing to do. I mean, Doni knows he's here all the time these days. So you just come on campus. Typically, you're there for a specific reason. So there's always, someone handling or escorting you to wherever you need to go.
Okay. So from an ID standpoint and the access point, we should register or set ourselves up. What do we need to do to make certain?
So those are going to be, unless you have a hard pass, which is really for folks that come in regularly for press briefings and stuff. Those are given out day by day. So I'll just have to approve you for that, which is, it's a very easy process. It's just me sending you a link.
Okay.
I want to double back to the last thing that you talked about. You had mentioned a series of days and events and programming that has happened at the White House for Black History Month. I love to hear what you guys have going on. As a fellow Afro-Latina whose Spanish is very limited, I feel your pain. But speaking of inclusion, can you talk to me about the creation of this office, how it came about, when it was created, and furthermore, with you now being the director of it, some of the things you're looking to implement throughout it?
Yeah, so as far back as I looked, and I'm pretty sure that President Obama was the first to have a director of Black media. Obviously, the previous administration, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess they didn't have one. I'll say about that. But my office existed before me. I just started 3 months ago, but I did have a predecessor. I sourced a lot of advice while it took me a while to get through vet because that's just the process. But while I was doing that, I had basically 2 months to, ask everyone in America what I need to do in this role to be successful. The main thing that I heard was just, it is what you make of it. And so I've tried to bring the press and comm strategies that have served me well over my career into this. So by providing a lot of access, by being as accessible as possible. Those are really the main things that I hope I've brought to the role. And so just making sure that we're doing enough to highlight the work that's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Rodericka, do you feel a special burden when it comes to representing the vice president, Kamala Harris, to have the first Black woman, not only as the press secretary, but the first Black woman vice president? Does that come with a certain level of anxiety or a certain level of responsibility? How does that work for you?
Well, and I think this is something probably every person that looks like me in spaces like this can relate to. You absolutely, whether it's fair or unfair, walk into rooms with kind of the entire culture on your back sometimes and feeling like you have to, in my mom's words, not embarrass anybody. And so, that's always something that's there. However, I'm not going to say that I put the vice president on my back. She's a strong woman that can speak for herself and does in her role as vice president. And so I think it's obviously all of our jobs to make sure that we're doing right by our positions here. But I think, and it's really an honor to work with a lot of strong women and strong Black people who can do that for themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's really important. Do we have, when coming to the White House, do we have to send in a document that says what we're here for? And how do we get? I think the
Marsha,
I'm sorry.
Let me step in. Once you email her, all of those questions get taken care of. Okay.
Okay.
We kind of want to get into some of the one of the questions we posed to Karine was, and let's pose it to you, Rose. What's a day like for you? I mean, how do you unwind? How do you unpack? How do you wrap your mind around? Yesterday, you had Cinefunk, actresses and VIPs. And there's no telling who might come through those gates.
Yeah, yesterday was big for me. I'm a huge Gina Torres fan, and she was here for Afro Latina Day and is perfect in every way, and was really we're very gracious to her for doing all the press that she did yesterday. We had a ton of press lined up for her, including you, Doni, and so that was great. I would say what it's like was that the question? Sorry.
Yeah. How do you wrap your brain around? Is it like stressful?
Yeah, I mean, yes, the job is stressful, but I think I am a glutton for punishment, and I enjoy environment and actively seek out environments like this, which I'm working through with my therapist on. But until we sort that out fully, my day-to-day is kind of whatever's happening that day. So typically each week, each Thursday and Friday, we kind of get a glimpse of what all the departments are doing for the following week and what we will need to highlight. So everyone gets an email from me on what officials we have available, and I just kind of schedule those interviews from there. Other than that, I take some time in the day to chart out some longer term projects. Like something I'm really proud of that we're currently working to put together right now is we have a Black owned and operated radio station from Philly coming to the White House with all of their gear on Monday to do a broadcast day from the White House. And so we've lined up, I think we have 24 different White House officials that will be coming through in person to speak with the folks on this radio station on Monday. The radio station's really happy about it. It's access they haven't had before, and we're really excited. And it's also great to have a radio station that is based in the president's home state. So we'll have some folks on, and we're excited for that.
I'd like to ask something. In looking at your day, so do you see the president on a regular basis, or is there a large room with several people there, or is it one-on-one? How does that interaction, how do you handle that interaction?
Yeah, so I do interface with the president when there is Black media opportunities. So part of my job is when there is time, because he's obviously a very busy man, making sure that we have him on Black radio stations. So back in November, we had him on Ricky Smiley's morning show and Erica Campbell's show as well. And then this past MLK Day, we had him on Keeping It Real, which is Al Sharpton's show. So for those, I do prep the president, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this president appreciates the help that he has coming from you and Karine and the people you work with. I've seen the work up close and somewhat behind the scenes, and he couldn't find a better team. And I'm really grateful to see people who look like me there, because I'm a little more comfortable that our issues are being addressed. I know that once you put it to him, or once the team puts it to him, he cannot help but hear you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I'm really excited about with the radio show that we're doing Monday as well. I think we pretty much have representation from almost every single department and agency here. And as I'm kind of reaching out to them to make sure that, we're covering a bunch of issues, I'm learning stuff, that we're doing out of the White House for Black Americans. So it's very cool. I've worked in organizations where it just feels like you have your constituency needs in a corner. And then, everyone else has the general stuff, but it's really great to work for White House, that literally every single aspect is really, we use the term whole of government approach here. And that's really what it is. So like there are ways that there are people whose entire job it is to just think about how the climate is impacting Black Americans, or how, the way we do taxes is impacting Black Americans, education, healthcare, foreign affairs, all of those things. And so it's very, I'm really excited for all the topics that we're going to be able to discuss on Monday.
And so will you be sending those out with some sort of regularity, what those topics might be or what the priorities might be?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it just typically with the way that we work with reporters is we highlight specific issues that we want to have those discussions around. And so, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So you definitely seem to be setting up a set of opportunities to both the media outlets and also the presidential administration to interact with each other. I'm not going to say in a way that's never happened before, but in my lifetime, which is limited, mind you, I've never really seen happen before. Can you talk to me about what you feel like the future of the Black media looks like with these kind of things being done? So obviously, like you said, you're in your third month in the position, but nonetheless, you're setting ablaze a trail that hopefully will continue to be walked and paved by other people. Like I said, can you just talk to me about what you feel like the future of the Black media looks like, knowing that things like this are being done from both the president's side, but also the media side?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So you have, first off, the things that we're doing and the policy things that are happening here. And then you bring in press that is specifically talking to audiences that are looking for that information. And then as audiences like continue to consume that, and then we, on my end, land clips, it allows me to go back to kind of my experience and say, I need more time with X, X, and X because look at the interest we're getting. And so from doing that, it's kind of a symbiotic process of y'all having more access into the White House, which is really my top priority. And then also, proving the point on my end to show why we need more time to give outlets more time so that we can keep talking about these policy things, because we don't have a shortage of things to talk about that we're doing on behalf of Black Americans in this administration. And so being able to have the opportunities to work with a bunch of different press, which I'm starting to recognize as I'm kind of pushing with the original press list that I got, they're bouncing around group chats somewhere. So then people reach out to me like, hey, like heard you had, my friend got with X outlet got this one-on-one with Korean, how can I get one of those? And so that's already happening, which is really exciting. And it's allowing me to expand our reach, which is ultimately increasing the amount of Black Americans that are becoming aware of the work that we're doing here.
Rodericka, I have to slide in there. There's the City University of New York, and they have this Black Media Project where they've mapped over 450 Black news outlets. Of course, the Afro and Baltimore Times, they're part of NNPA, but there are other organizations like at CUNY, where some of us small fries get to call home.
Well, one, there's no such thing as a small fry, because there is someone who is relying on you, Doni, and everyone else in this interview to deliver the news to them. And so, that's the thing. Like something that I don't think works as a strategy for comms is to say, let me just go where most of the voices are, because if you have the opportunity to reach everyone, you should. And so that's why it's my priority. And it's I don't get to say that an outlet was too small, so that's why we ignored them. At the end of the day, like, it is my job to try to reach as many Black Americans as possible, and so that's on me to make sure that I'm reaching out to people. So if you have that list from CUNY, I will take it. Yes. So I can email those folks as well and annoy them.
Yes, Cheryl Thompson, she's a great resource. And I just wanted to jump in. I know you got a question, Ari. I can see it all over your face. But
I do.
But Rodericka, I know I've asked you privately, but I just have to do it officially. Are you running for president or even press secretary?
I don't think you can run for press secretary, but also no. I very much enjoy working on this side of things.
So actually, kind of in the same nature as his question, not quite if you're running for president, but with the presidential election coming up, are you anticipating, or are you preparing even, I guess, for an increase in these kind of opportunities? So whether it be the radio stations or things like this, digital, broadcast, written even, obviously, as President Biden goes out and he tours the country and, is advocating for himself, for people to vote for him, campaigning, things of the sort. Are you going to kind of put on your old hat for the campaign trail and get ready with him? And like I said, if not, if you're going to stay at home base in the White House, are you guys preparing for an increase in this? Because I remember the last time that he was campaigning in 2020, there was a lot being done. I'm in Ohio, and specifically there was an event that happened in Cleveland where I think like it was him and Beyonce said something. Maybe it was a lot of Black celebrities like, yeah, Joe Biden. So it's like, being in this position now, does that fall on you to prepare for those things? And if so, what are you getting ready to, or what are you doing to get ready for it?
So no, that does not fall on me, because if it did, then I would fall into prison. That would be a hatchback violation. So we won't be doing that. And there is a counterpart. There's a Black media director on the campaign side that I'm happy to connect to for any campaign questions. As for me, my directive for the year is the same as it was when I started, is just make sure Black Americans know what this administration is doing for them. So that is that exists outside of where we are in the calendar. It is my job and focus, and that's what I'll be focused on through the end of the term.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Sure.
And I just ask Baltimore Times, are you with us, Dina or Andrea? I know you're tuning in. Okay, Marcia?
No, I was just wondering, in looking at your calendar, I'm sure you're knee deep in alligators. How do you manage your day with so many things and they're moving so fast? How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think, just the way that anybody else, I think, in a fast-paced job does, just, you have to just be really tight on your scheduling, be tight on your email, answer texts, do the whole thing, and just try to hang on for dear life, frankly. And, that's really all I can say about that.
Rodericka, do you find that, so I've been doing some research. I told you yesterday I'm working on my master's, and a few things are said about the Black community that we are stereotyped. They said we watch a lot of television more than anybody else. We outshop anybody. In doing your job, do you have to buy into those stereotypes? Do you have to counter them? How do you navigate with the rest of the world, how the rest of the world sees the Black community, which is often wrong, but does that come into play in your 9 to 5?
So the only thing that really has an impact to me is, and this is something that I do kind of regularly, is look at, first off, where and how Black Americans are consuming just anything, not even news necessarily. So, like, for example, Black Americans are the most reliable listeners to radio, right? Like, it's like, I think something like some ridiculous percentage. I think we want to say 85% of Black Americans listen to radio at least 20 minutes a month, and most are like listening longer than that. And so, that means that radio is something that we absolutely need to be reaching. On top of that, social media as well. Just today, we had Secretary Cardona on with American Urban Radio Networks on Instagram Live. Like, we will do anything. And so he was on to talk about student debt relief efforts that the Department of Education is doing. So just making sure that we're just going wherever and however people consume news. I mean, the main thing that I always want to do is make sure that no one feels preached at or talked at with the work that we're doing. And so I don't think it serves me any good to say, well, here's what I value and here's where Black people should be getting their news. It's just, where are they getting their news, and let's make sure they're doing that. So I work with entertainment outlets. I work with influencers, just anybody who's willing to talk about, spare a little time to talk about what where their issues are. Because, even on, one that comes to mind is like Poly Alert, which is a subset of Baller Alert, which is a huge celebrity news outlet that a lot of Black people frequent. And so making sure that I'm doing what I need to do to make sure I'm reaching their reporters if they're willing to talk about it. Because, a lot of people will either have political discussions in the comments anyway that are unrelated. So, like, if they're going to talk about it anyway, let's at least give them, some counter programming from the White House. So,
are you telling us that we should anticipate the shade room being at the White House? Is that what I'm hearing?
They've been to the White House a few times. Yeah.
Okay. Very surprising, but I mean, like you said, if it's an outlet that's going to reach the Black community, then it absolutely makes sense. I understand that.
Exactly.
Here's a question from one of our viewers, Tanya Jeffries. What advice would you give a small child who wants to be like you?
Oh my gosh. A lot of ways I still feel like a small child, even though I turned 30 last month. So I think it's time to hang it up. But thank you, Tanya, for the question. Be like me. No one wants to be like me. I hope not. They should aim higher.
Stop. No. You are way up there, lady. Way up there.
Right.
But,
and we are proud of you. We are very proud of you. Your village is proud of you.
Yeah. And
Thank
it's
you.
huge. It's huge. So don't dismiss that for real.
But I think just, and this sounds like so like pageant, but like honestly, just do what you want to do. I think I've spent so much of the front end of my career being afraid to speak up and feeling a lot of that, kind of pressure that I was talking about earlier about, feeling like you're representing everybody that looks like you, even though there's only one of you in the room and that sort of thing. And so you just kind of have to like check all that at the door as much as possible. And, sounds very hypocritical for me as someone who has chronic imposter syndrome, but like, you just have to, if you're there, you have to at least appreciate that for whatever reason you're there, it is for a good one. And so that you should just use the opportunity and the airtime you have to say, to advocate for your community and yourself, if you can.
I love it.
Okay,
Yes.
here's from the Baltimore Times. They're asking, are you interested in connecting with more young leaders and children who are about today's issues?
Yes. So something that we've done, one, I have, Howard University is an HBCU based here. We regularly have their reporters on campus. We had them on yesterday for Afro-Latina Day, and they always do really good coverage. So appreciate them. And something we've done previously is have briefing style opportunities to bring in young journalists and have them ask questions.
That's
Could we bring Morgan State? Can I refer my colleagues at Morgan?
Yes.
Okay.
I never say no.
HBCUs outside the DMV.
Yes, come.
Absolutely.
Please come. Yes, any opportunities. Obviously, we're wrapping up on Black History Month, but we've got Juneteenth coming up. We have just other opportunities in general. I don't want to be the, only call me twice a year type of thing. We are always doing Black things here. And so I want to make sure that we are highlighting that to whoever is willing to come.
With your new position and obviously with Vice President Harris being in office, are you guys anticipating anything for April for Black Women's History Month? I know from what you just said, you guys have some great things that you've done this month. Hearing that you had an Afro-Caribbean and an Afro-Latino Day still has my heart pumping with joy. But there's a lot to be celebrated, I think, during April.
And Black Descendants Day. That was awesome too. Yes.
You guys have done some amazing things. Like I said, but I know that April oftentimes, if you don't know about it, it is easily overlooked. Obviously, we know that this nation has had some amazing Black women contribute things to it. Are you guys, what's the lineup for that looking like? So I know to book my flight so I can show up.
Well, April may as well be 30 years down the road in White House time. I can tell you that, we will be doing something. I can't really get into specifics of what it is at this time because it likely we do a lot of in the moment. And so right now we're looking ahead to really State of the Union is the main thing we're all kind of focusing on at the moment. But yes.
And that's huge. That's huge. We all are looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so when we look at the next, we're looking at the specials that are coming up on the calendar. Are there going to be any large convening where there's perhaps at one of the local hotels or something where we can get some of not only our headquarters from the White House, but also some from the Legislative Black Caucus and Hispanic Caucus, where we could have a room to have dialogue about where we are in the state of the United States?
Yeah, so what I can speak to, I can't speak to whatever planning CBC has, that they have their own comms team and operational structure. And also as a comm staffer at the White House, I really only amplify the events. I don't necessarily plan them unless there's a specific press event. Like Monday's radio thing is something that I planned, but either way, feel free to always reach out to me on what you'd like to come to the White House to cover. And we will either work to build an event around it, whether it be a one-on-one or just, sitting in on a public event that we're having. But those are all things those are kind of case-by-case basis that we build those things.
And just so you know, April Rhines says, thank you. I told her how much you inspired her. She's on her way to the airport, but we just thank you for taking time out. And there's, what was Kevin's last name? Kevin, who was with Obama in your position?
Oh, Kevin Lewis.
Kevin Lewis. He was the first one I met. And then Karine and you. It's been truly a blessing. And again, I can attest. The Trump White House, I think I got one invite. I might have been filling in for April. It was a Sunday morning. I didn't get in, and I was not mad. We're not fans of that guy. But anyway, any final thoughts? And again, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule. But
yeah,
Aria, Marcia, the Baltimore Times, we all appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. No, big parting thoughts from me, because this will not be the last time we're speaking. I've got huge open door policy. Call me, text me anytime, email me. That one takes a little longer because I get a million emails a day. But just whatever. It is truly an honor to be in a position that allows me to give access to outlets that may not have it otherwise, and so always being able to serve as an advocate for y'all. I mean, I regularly describe my job as being an agent for Black media, and sometimes that means I'm jostling internally for more time or for a specific official to make sure that we're not that the Black outlets are getting the same caliber of White House officials and access to those officials as any other outlet, because that's news is news, and so we should be getting it to everyone.
So just so you know, we do care about what's happening in Africa, what's happening, but also in Taiwan, in China. We do care about the Houthis and the Hezbollah and what's happening in the Gaza Strip. We are internationally aware, but we also appreciate the local emphasis on our community, because we know from the Revolutionary War all the way through to the wars today that our people have been a part of it. And thank you also for acknowledging our Caribbean roots, our Latino roots, and our indigenous roots. Waiting on that Black Indians Day. But thank you, Rodericka.
Thank you, Rodericka. I appreciate it. It's wonderful meeting you, and I look forward to a long program with you.
Likewise, Doni, please make sure I get everyone's emails. I will be hitting you up after this, but yes. Please.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. It has been an absolute pleasure. Super excited to see what else you guys have lined up during your time with the White House. So I would definitely be tuning in, and hopefully getting the chance to do this with you more.
Yes, please. Anytime.
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you for taking so much time with us. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it. This is going to be fun.
Thanks. Have a good weekend, everybody.
We do the same. Thank you, Doni.
Thank you. Keep watching blackusa.news. Do check out Aria. Aria, how can people get in touch with you and the Afro? And thank you, Aria. You made me and you're not in Baltimore? How you gonna be in Ohio hijacking our show? It's all good.
Okay, look, superpowers.
And big ups to Alexis, because she turned on a dime. Many thanks.
Yes. Shout out to Alexis, my managing editor. She is the absolute best. But people can get in contact with myself and with the Afro in general. If you have any ideas for a story, something you want to talk about, you feel like you just want to get your piece off your chest and share it with the news outlet, you can hit us up at editor@afro.com. So that's editor, just the word EDITOR @AFRO.com. I personally do a lot of our arts and culture writing. I also do a little bit of whatever else they throw at me. And I also do our cooking segment on Facebook, which is called Afro Cooking Live. If you have any interest in that, you can follow, or not follow me, you can reach out to me at A, being my first initial, Brent, BRENT, @afro.com. And, whatever you have to say, I will see, I will receive, and possibly write up about it. So yes, that is how people can contact me.
That's wonderful. Thank you so
Marcia
much.
Jews, how can people reach you?
MarciaJews@gmail.com.
Good deal. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody. And do check us out Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. for blackusa.news, the Emmy-nominated Doni Glover Show.
Thank you, Doni.
Thank you, Doni.